All right, everybody. It's finally happened. Lance's bad faith attempts to defend his defense of an abuser. That kind of rolls off the tongue weird. Lance's bad faith attempts to defend his defense of an abuser have now rolled on to the extent that he is in bad faith claiming, well, I'll just read the title of his new video on me, because he's perpetuating this drama that's been pretty much dead for a week now. Xander Hall's vile pedo accusation against Lance. I did not accuse Lance of being a pedophile. Of the Serfs goes way too far, and he doubles down. I like how clickbaity his titles are. He's kind of putting a little bit too much work in, though, I will say. Now, to be clear, if you're watching this, and you are a Lance fan, or even if you're one of my fans who has been deliberately avoiding my videos on this stuff because you think that it's just sort of petty drama, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you so much for watching this far in. And I ask that you stay around long enough to find out why this is a serious issue and it's not petty drama. Because one of the most common responses I have been getting time and time again to all of this is that this is just petty infighting. The left needs to learn how to stop fighting with each other, and it's self-destructive, yada, 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 yada. This playing down of what Lance did. Guys, I want you to imagine for a second, for those of you guys that don't know what iilluminaughtii did, you're about to find out when we watch this video, but for those of you guys who do, I want you to imagine the things iilluminaughtii did, she did to women. And she was a man. Imagine that. It's a man, like a cis man, doing that abuse to cis women. And imagine Lance defended that male iilluminaughtii in this scenario. There would not be anybody saying that I am acting unfairly by calling out Lance. No one on the left would be doing that. She would be far more destroyed now than she already is. So I think it's very clear that there is a bias in a lot of progressives that see this as not a big deal. She was a woman. Like, either maybe just subconsciously they think, she was a woman. How much abuse could she have really instilled? Plus, she's progressive. How much abuse could she have really done? And a lot of people just kind of avoid learning about what actually happened. And so there is going to be a code word on this video. We're going to be engaging in a massive purge. There's going to be a code word in this video. I'm not saying where it's going to be. And if you comment something that disagrees with the video in the comments of this video, and it does not contain the code word at the end, I will just ban you permanently from the channel without a second thought, because I'll know you saw that it was me criticizing Lance, and you went to the comments to immediately comment about how this is stupid and I shouldn't be talking about it. I consider that abuse apologia, even if it's just based out of lefties being desperately, wanting to be in sort of a blissful ignorance about a figure they like. So yeah, I do think that abuse apologia deserves a ban. What's the code word? Oh, it's going to be later on. You have to actually hear my arguments before you can find it out. So, let's get into this. Basically, two content creators, as well as a few others, but these were the two that were like the front and foremost of all of this, named The Click and the Wonderstruck, were people who worked with, content creators that worked alongside Blair. iilluminaughtii. Big YouTuber, massive YouTuber, over 1 million subs, I think millions of subs, like really big YouTuber, really rich. She's literally investing in like real estate and stuff. She's a landlord, but she's also a lefty, and she's also friends with the Serfs and is on a podcast along with the Serfs. Basically, what ends up happening is Blair offers Wonderstruck a place to live with her. And she offers to, in exchange for him working for her, to produce, like, she would provide everything they need to live, right? In exchange for work. The problem with that is the living situation quickly ended up being extremely abusive, facts that both Wonder and Click were able to substantiate with evidence and receipts, and Illuminati has not been able to do so. And on top of that, after leaving the situation and finally getting away, the victims of her abuse, she continued to slander. Without any evidence, she put out a video to slander them as malicious liars, and actually claims that they are pedophiles, or pedophile enablers, one of them, and abuse and racist themselves. She just levies a bunch of really bad accusations at them. Lance then puts out a video that he titles, and I quote, "Illuminati destroys the malicious lies from former Sad Milk team members," in parentheses, "her receipts are insane." So ironically, maybe he's trying to troll me by making this title in the same format as the video where he defended Illuminati. So I end up criticizing him for this. You see, me and Lance have kind of had a tenuous relationship for a while. It's always been very clear that he doesn't like me. He's made his dislike of me very open and vocal in the past several times. And people would ask me, like, what's my thoughts on Lance? Like, why do I kind of cringe whenever people bring up Lance? And it's like, oh, well, Lance hates me. And his reasons for it are stupid. He has given 2 reasons for why he dislikes me, from my understanding. The first reason was because of a different Blair. You see, one day this was like years ago, I was responding to a Crazy Turf video, and this Crazy Turf brought up Blair White, but kept referring to her as Tim. But she was talking about Blair White positively. So I was confused. Like, wait a second. What is this Turf misgendering Blair? Wait, is this Turf dead naming Blair White, but not misgendering, but also talking positively about her? What is happening right now? Is that even Blair White's dead name? Is it Blair White's dead name? And I opened up a tab on my other monitor where you guys can't see, and I Googled Blair White Tim. And I pressed enter. Is that her dead name? I don't know what her dead name is, because I didn't Google Blair White's dead name as Lance claimed I did. I Googled Blair White Tim, and what came up very quickly was what Tim actually means. Tim is an acronym for TERFs. We are still doing this shit? So here we have a good example of exactly what I'm talking about, by the way. We are talking about a woman who has perpetuated abuse and a man who has defended said abuser, and the response from lefties is, we are still talking about this shit? We're still doing this shit? Abuse doesn't matter when it's a woman who did it. See, these people are not even willing to educate themselves. That guy just came in the chat, saw that I was talking about Lance, and immediately started talking his shit. Just immediately started playing defense. Started, like, you guys see what I've been dealing with, right? Like, I'm actively explaining the abuse that Lance has made excuses for. It's on the screen, Lance accusing me of calling him a pedophile, which I did not do. And still you've got people in chat who are implying or outright saying that my defense, me defending myself against Lance's now, like, trying to redirect at me for the shit he engaged in. Oh my god. Oh my god. The left has a problem. The left has a serious fucking problem. Anyway, Illuminati follows that up by proceeding to falsely malign her victims as one of them as a pedophile enabler and the other as a racist. It turns out what actually happened, and of course Wonder and Click were both able to prove this, is that Click was asleep. He has a Discord server of like tens of thousands of people, and he was asleep, and some dude in his Discord was like talking sexually to a minor, and that person got banned. But Illuminati tried to frame that as he created an environment where minors could be groomed. So, like, what? Very bizarre. And then we move even further on. Lance makes his video where he defends the abuse. He follows it up with, like, yes, I'm going to call... He calls out me. He calls out my call out on him. People kept asking me, why do you not like Lance? I kept getting questions, why do you not like Lance? What's your problem with Lance? And I was like, okay. Lance is kind of cringe, but that on its own isn't enough. Lance has also shit-talked me a few times, which is pretty cringe, but that on its own isn't enough for me to call him out because it's just kind of offhanded comments. However, I think we've gotten to the point where I can make a video talking about why I don't like him. And in that video, I talk about the fact that he had made a video defending an abuser, someone who had been proven to be an abuser at this point. But he doesn't acknowledge that, actually. Like, I ended up watching his video, and he doesn't really acknowledge it. Not only that, but an hour before his video response to me criticizing his video, where he defends an abuser, he took down his video defending the abuser. He took it down an hour before responding to me and then never acknowledged it. But the funny thing is, things might have changed today, but at least I know yesterday, the video's still up on his other platforms. He's only taken it down off YouTube. YouTube's the only place where he's taken it down. I think we're having Lance fans raid YouTube chat right now because we're getting a lot of people in chat that are now calling me a pedo. So I imagine I guess Lance made this video claiming that I called him a pedo, so now Lance fans are coming to my channel to call me a pedo? Wow. What an insane turn of events. I didn't call him a pedo. He claimed I did, and now his fans are actually calling me a pedo. So yeah, obviously we're rolling out indiscriminate bans for anybody who does Lance defense. But yeah, anyway, so basically, Lance straight up just fucking made his video kind of rolling the accusations that away. Like, he just sort of acknowledges only his debate performance that I criticized as, like, sort of like a let's have fun for the last bit of the segment portion. He basically rolls away from the entire thing. So, considering that this is somebody who has straight up defended an abuser, and then, even when all the evidence was out, and only cut ties once, like, it was literally just impossible not to. Like, he had to at that point. Like, Illuminaughtii is hemorrhaging shit tons of subs. It's over for her. Her career's done. He had to cut ties. But he literally held on for as long as possible and then doubled down on his defense by attacking me for criticizing his defense of her. So yeah. Anyway, before we watch Lance's video, because Lance's video is no doubt going to avoid Illuminaughtii as a subject entirely, or at least as much as possible, we're actually going to watch a video that goes over what I actually criticized Lance for, and then you guys are going to get to see Lance pretend like I criticized him for something completely different. But yeah, let's watch this video first that does a decent job, I think, of summarizing what's happened.
Complete decimation of Illuminaughtii's credibility from her former friends and employees Wonderstruck and The Click. She has now lost well over 170,000 subscribers, and even her sponsors are starting to drop her, which of course, out of everything, that loss of income would be the catalyst to Illuminaughtii attempting to make another response to these criticisms that have been levied against her. Yesterday she tweeted out, "Hey everyone, I am fully aware of the recent false allegations that have surfaced. I want to take a moment to publicly state that I am taking these allegations seriously, and am committed to rectifying this situation promptly and appropriately. I understand the concerns and potential impact that these false allegations have caused. My team and I are actively working behind the scenes to gather all relevant facts. I am committed to transparency and accountability throughout this process. Rest assured that I am taking decisive action to address this situation. I will
She's such a businesswoman.
provide updates and communicate any necessary actions as soon as possible."
For those that don't know, she's also getting into, like, real estate. She's got a shit ton of money and she's investing heavily in real estate, so she's like an actual, like, business guru. She's not just like a random YouTuber who makes videos. Like, she's trying to become like a landlord, like a lefty landlord, but like a company owner, like one of those companies that buys out a fuck ton of properties.
Thank you to those who are standing by me during this challenging time. I will not allow these false allegations to be weaponized as a way to silence my voice. I appreciate your patience and understanding during this challenging time. I am dedicated to upholding my channel's values and delivering on our commitment. I am confident that the truth will prevail. Sincerely, Blair's on. Internet Anarchist responds to her by saying, "You really should have taken the Sunny V2 approach of ghosting the drama and continuing with usual uploads." Chris the Narc responds, "No, let her cook. Funnier." Leaf's Matrix says, "Ratio time, everybody. Success."
Fucking Irvin. Let's fucking go! God. That's such a good edit.
The joy of ratioing those who deserve it. Let's fucking go! Bobu Senchan says, this sounds so PR. I'm sure at least 10 people working in PR wrote these statements. This doesn't sound human. It sounds so corporate. Also, was it also fake the suicide note you posted on your 1.5 million YouTuber followers account? That for me was the worst part, and you yourself posted it. D. Bernard Rivers says, nope, too late. Not even.
Oh yeah, she posted Wonder's suicide note. Yeah, that is not something she can deny. She just kind of posted it on her Twitter account. So, like, Wonder's okay, by the way, thank God. But yeah, yeah, it was, like, saved. Like, it was a pre-written suicide note, I think, and Blair found it, or, Illuminaughtii found it and posted it online. On her Twitter, I believe, yeah.
Even sure how you turned up in my feed. I've stopped Patreon, unsubbed, and now apparently
This was already very public when Lance made his video defending her, by the way. I want to be very clear. The vast majority of this stuff was very public already when Lance made his video defending her. Lance was not blind to this info.
muting you. You need to fix
Lance knew all of
yourself
this.
before you can rectify.
Lance is also friends with Thought Slime and a dozen other people of very, very shitty behavior like this. Lance is not a good judge of moral character at the very least. That is like the most charitable judgment I can give of him when it comes to his association. But honestly, that's not really what I care as much about. It's his actual defense of the actions and of the person that I really care about. He made a video not only just defending the abuser. That's one thing. Defending the abuser is one thing, but also attacking the victims. The title also calls Illuminautti's victims malicious liars.
But those words are lost on someone like you. Philo says, didn't you share someone's no mass living note within your supposed apology video? Naomi says, this is the most dramatic way of saying nothing at all that I have ever witnessed. ACU says, can I have $5? To which Leafs Matrix responds, please give this person $5. FPS Diesel shows this image where someone asks for the source and Illuminaughtii responds, it was revealed to me during my psychotic break. Chase Eglin says, problem is, Blair, you can't call them false allegations anymore. Click and Wonderstruck both provided receipts and evidence to support their claims. This isn't something you can slap a false allegations label.
So this is why Lance had to so desperately ignore and pretend like I never criticized it. Like none of the criticisms I levied towards him were valid. It was all just me like making fun of him or whatever. And then accusing him of being a pedo, I guess, is probably what he's pushing. When in reality, he's had to completely separate himself from the fact that he totally did defend this person because the entire internet has now been exposed to the truth, and he's spineless. He won't accept it. He's been spineless since his debates with Destiny. It's why, like, even back in the day, one of the most common insults for him was that he was spineless. The dude's just kind of weak. He has no grit.
Label onto and expect everyone to go along with it. Flashing Pondu says, a challenging time is when your former boss weaponizes your own mental health against you for the whole world to see. You are not the victim here. You are a seriously vile person. Take time off, get help, and never hold other people's mental health against them again. Beastsugar73 says, laughing my fucking ass off. Diane Lay says, you mean all the evidence that others posted that included your evidence, contradicted your evidence, and showed who was the real issue? Let me guess. It's taking a month for lawyers to tell you it's not libel/slander if true, and for you to fabricate information? Leia Something says, false. Right. Ansley says, just to check, you were the one who published one of your friend's suicide notes, right? That's not an allegation. We all saw you do that. Alex says, why do you copyright strike re-uploads of this video?
Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. Girls don't talk about their shit, their poops, right? Well, I'm gonna talk about my poops because this is a story about poop. So I had this guy that came over for the weekend for my birthday. We drank a lot, we ate a lot of like bad foods, like unhealthy, like junk foods, you know, whatever. And I didn't drink enough water. We decided we were all gonna go out to breakfast to go get some food. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. And you just thought you were going there to piss, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know, shitting out Mona Lisa's arm. And you're like, I don't know what happened here, but here we are. So I've never had this problem before. And it was like a big fucking turd. Like this thing was like a baby arm on steroids. Like I really thought—
You're not good at this. I'm funny when I describe taking a giant shit. This is not funny. It's not Mona Lisa's arm, it's fucking King Kong's finger. Get it right.
I potentially, like, ripped my asshole in, like, I don't know, like, I had 2 assholes or something. I don't know. Like, there was, like,
What?
It was huge. I'm looking at it, and I don't even see the hole for the toilet to, like, you know, where it sucks all the shit down. It was literally just looking at a big, straight fucking log. And I had this guy over, like, oh my god, he can't see this poop. And he, like, was like, hey, can I use your bathroom? And I'm like, oh god, I'm in here panicking. So, you know, I did what any normal person would do in this situation. So I took a bunch of the toilet papers and I tried to pick the poop up with my hands.
No!
And
No!
so
No!
it would be just like, you know, a piece of wood, and you just like, you know, just like pick it up, and I was gonna like, put it in the trash can because I have those little baby trash can bags. I was just gonna take the trash out, like no big deal, like haha, I'm just cleaning the bathroom. It broke in half in the toilet, and I'm in this bathroom freaking out, and it's like dead silent. I have just shit my baby arm out, and now I broke it in half, and it made shit stains down the side of the toilet. And I'm in there with a plunger, fucking crying, and I'm like plunging this fucker so hard with the door shut, and he's just like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Water's like splashing everywhere, it's like on my legs. I like feel disgusting now because there's baby arm turd on there. There's baby arm turd in the plunger itself.
Twink Sprink 27 responds to Illuminaughtii.
She might copyright strike this video if you're not careful. I don't think Illuminaughtii is in a position where that would be a very good idea. If Illuminaughtii copyright striked my channel, the shitstorm I would start would be like, it would be the career ender. I would give the final blow to her fucking career if she did that to me. I fucking dare her. I will be the final blow to the back of the head that is her fucking career. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. If she wants to falsely copyright strike my video for having that contained in it, this is completely transformative and not copyright. Xander Hall, please cut this segment for my sanity. Nope.
By sharing this clip from one of her videos and saying, just as you said, Blair.
When something as horrible as this happens, people always come out and admit fault and tell.
I'm going to start a fucking shit show. Every YouTuber that I am friends with will... Illuminaughtii is already the internet's most wanted. If she copyright strikes me, and I make a big deal about it, it will be the biggest benefit for me ever. I will get the strike removed almost certainly. And even if I don't, it'll disappear and I'll gain thousands of subs. Maybe more.
The horrifying truth of their continued negligence
Go ahead,
and
Blair,
malpractice, right? Yeah, you're right, that never happens. What am I thinking? Instead, they usually do their best to hide everything and blame anyone but themselves, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happened here too.
Donnie says, in this episode of Corporate
I dare
Casket,
her.
where we cover a boss when attempting to make an apology video, she put an ex-coworker's suicide note out there for the world to see, and put him in a position where he was forced to talk about his personal trauma. Let's investigate. Cherry says, I've always wanted to ratio an abuser. Bob Vid says, dunno, but this reads like a lawyer wrote it, and potential impact of these false allegations? My team and I are actively working behind the scenes to gather all relevant facts, taking divisive action to address the situation? I think she's prepping to...
I love that Cherry's reached the level of prominence that I get to see Cherry in, like, Bo Black's videos. My fucking editor we've gotten so big that my editor appears in like, popular YouTube videos. We're there, guys.
Sue. Popilled says, this was so written by
I'm friends with
ChatGPT,
Poe
laughing
too.
my fucking ass off. Rel says, Community Notes has the opportunity to do the funniest shit ever. High Progressive says, when I'm in a being an abusive narcissistic competition and my opponent is Illuminaughtii. Brianna Wu says, respectfully Illuminaughtii, it's very difficult to imagine what information you could put out that makes you look good from this point. You'd be smart to stop doubling down, admit mistakes, and vow to address it with your audience. This is not going to end well. Turkey Tom says, this better be good. Omni says, yo, she's tripling down! Repsion says, if you cared about transparency, why did you intentionally
Brianna
leave out
W.
conversations and information when you made your video, which was countered by additional evidence of folks you made the accusations about? Mudhar says, I'm glad I wait on these things now, been wanting to cover this. The Nerd Plant says, false allegations, laughing my ass off, get the fuck out of here. Silence Triangle. Kevin Logan says, so she's gonna investigate herself to see if she has anything
Even
wrong.
Kevin Logan's based on this.
Cregan Lance quote tweets Illuminaughtii by showing this picture of a very innocent-looking girl from Ace Attorney and saying, "Hey everyone, I am fully aware of the recent false allegations that have surfaced. I want to take a moment to publicly state that I am taking these allegations seriously, and I'm committed to rectifying the situation promptly and appropriately." Petty Page says, "Tripling down is actually wild." Barbarism Critic says, "I don't know, man. I think making someone your live-in indentured servant and also posting their suicide note online pretty much speaks for itself. Don't really need much more context, to be honest. I've barely followed this shit, and what I've seen is inexcusable for someone who casts their lot with the left." Knox says, "I think you should apologize to Wonder for trying to use his mental health to discredit him, and also leaking private conversations with him, which you did. It is in that video. No false allegations there. And I am no follower of Wonder. I am a decent human being." Sensitive Society says, "Get fucked." And then just as I was
No, who needs to be banned? Brendan Kruger? If someone needs to be banned, just name them in the chat, say ban blank, and I'll ban them.
editing this video, some crazy news came out from Wonderstruck, who said, "Blair aka Illuminaughtii just sent me a cease and desist for speaking out against her abuse. I will not be silent." The Click responds to this by saying, "English isn't my first language, but this is an odd translation of taking accountability." One topic says, "No way." Nicholas Diorio says, "Laughing my fucking ass off, she's so predictable." The Kind Kitten says, "If you ever need a lawyer, maybe hire Legal Eagle." Oz Media says, "Blair, a leftist, is basically threatening Wonderstruck with a slap suit." And now this tweet is a week old and not related to her recent statement, but I find it funny that Non on Twitter found a makeshift Illuminaughtii plush at a thrift store for $2.99. So even the biggest Illuminaughtii fans, who were dedicated enough to her as a content creator to buy her plush, have started to give it away out of disappointment for her behavior.
Dude, can you imagine Legal Eagle ends up being Wonder's legal representation? It all comes full circle.
I just find that so hilarious. Anyways, as Illuminaughtii said in her statement, she will be addressing all of this. So I'm sure whenever that happens, there will be a lot more people goofing on her.
My swim students are here. Wait, you're a swim coach, JBZ? I didn't know you were a swim coach. I was on the swim team in high school. That's awesome. Well, have fun teaching swim practice. Make them do a shit... You know what you should make them do? You should make them do drylands today. JBZ. You should make them do drylands today. Make them do drylands. They'll love you for it, I'm sure. And tell them that a streamer you watch recommended it. And tell them who it is, because I want them to message me angry about how I convinced their swim coach to make them do drylands. How does one swim on dry land? It's not what dry land. Basically, we have specific days where you do like in and out of the water exercises. Like for example, we'd get kickboards and fins, and we'd have to do like 5 laps or whatever, like 500. Not 5 laps, 500 with the kickboards, and then after that we'd have to do like leg lifts or like bicycle kicks or whatever. So you'd have to get out of the pool and get on land, or dips on the edge of the pool too. But it's like swimming, then getting out of the water to do periodic on-land exercise, and then getting back in the water for more laps. It's hell. It's hell. It's the worst.
On Twitter, which I of course will compile into a video for all of you guys to see right here. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe to this channel with notifications on. If there's any other dramas you are interested in, I highly recommend you check out my previous videos. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, so that basically catches you up on I guess the broad details. There's a lot of other stuff that's pretty relevant as well. The fact that she basically forced Wonder to act as like a living maid for her. And basically the condition was as long as Wonder was working, producing content, and cleaning up after her, then they would be allowed to live there. But if they like disagreed with her or like dissented or something like that, then obviously those living situations would go away in the blink of an eye. That is a very, very fucked situation to be in. So yeah, it's not exactly the kind of thing I defend. All of this was public though. And Lance still made his video. As a matter of fact, here's the point where I think it's time to start going over Lance's behavior. So, Lance made a video. Let me see if I can actually dig it up on my Twitter. Because he took it down an hour before making his last video where he accuses me of being like of just attacking him out of nowhere. Yeah, here it is. So this was the video I criticized him for that he's since taken down off YouTube, but is still up as far as I know on other platforms he has. iilluminaughtii debunks the malicious claims from former Sad Milk team. In parentheses, her receipts are insane. He got massively ratioed, and the comments were all, like, disagreeing with him. Like, he was getting the most hate in the comments. Like, I've never seen him get more shit than he did in the comments in this video, because even then, it was very clear, very, very clear that he was in the wrong, and he was defending someone who was very in the wrong. Lance, however, makes a video where he responds to me, and he doesn't actually acknowledge that criticism. Granted, I spent a fair amount of the video dunking on him for other stuff, but the actual core criticism I had of him was his defense of iilluminaughtii. That was the relevant thing that was happening. That was why I was talking about Lance in the first place. But he's trying to pretend that isn't the case because he cannot win in any scenario in a internet battle, as he seems to deem this, against somebody who is criticizing him for defending an abuser. So he has to change the narrative. He is desperate to change the narrative. So how did he do it? Well, I ended up covering Lance's video on stream. Pretty briefly. Like, I didn't go over the video and listen to it because I knew he was just spreading lies. We'll watch, like, as much as we can of this video, but it's just going to be him lying and pretending he didn't, like, defend iilluminaughtii. So it's like, what am I supposed to do there if he just won't even engage with what I criticized him for and he just wants to pretend like I attacked him for no reason? Hey, Every Griddle. There's not really much you can do, but we'll watch a little bit. Is he friends with her IRL? They have since split everything up. However, I do want to show you guys a funny little detail. So basically, during my segment where I'm responding to his video, I end up tweeting out that I'm covering it. And I tweet this. Lance refers to me as Slanderhall in his new vid on me, a nickname made up by lolicon pedos on Twitter. Maybe not the best crowd to get your lingo from. Which is completely true. That's where Slanderhall comes from. It was a term, like a remark to call me, invented by the Twitter lolicon community, who were mad that I called them pedophiles, and so they would call me Slanderhall. And funnily enough, Lance was calling me Slanderhall, so I just said, that's not the best crowd to get your lingo from, which is where he would have heard it, because those are the people who invented it. I mean, unless he made it up himself, in which case it's even funnier that he thought he'd come up with an original insult towards me, but the thing he came up with was an insult that, fucking trains. Should I make the joke Keffels made that got her canceled? Probably not. I probably shouldn't make the train joke. If you guys know the one, you guys know the one. Anyway, basically, I don't know how you can interpret this as what Lance does, but Lance says you really did speedrun on slandering a queer person as pedophile adjacent because they criticized your content. Right-wingers don't even move this fast. Notice, because they criticized your content. So he's pretending like I didn't criticize him for defending an abuser, and that's not why I'm upset with him. And now he's trying to redirect it to Zan is homophobic. In fact, it's gone from him claiming that I claimed he was pedo-adjacent to now Xander Hall's vile pedo accusation against Lance of the Serfs goes way too far, and he doubles down. I'm curious what the comments are like. How many dumb fucks have been tricked? People saying I'm a hypocrite because I was mad at Shu. Honestly, I've never liked Xander Hall. He did something similar to another much smaller YouTuber named Dusty Smith by accusing him of exploiting sex workers. I apologize for that. I'd been given false information by people in DMs. People kept telling me that Dusty Smith would that his thing was uploading sex workers' content onto his own website and monetizing it, and they sent video clips where he's saying something that sounds a lot like that. It sounded pretty sussy. But the way Dusty explained it to me seems pretty legit, so I took it back publicly and apologized. So this is just like a big reach. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do when people in chat are telling me this person did a thing. I'm really disappointed in Xander for all this crap. The biphobia is particularly upsetting since I'm also bi-pan. I'm about dead center on the Kinsey scale. But anyone who isn't cishet is definitely queer, at least if they choose to be out. Zan, this is the same nickname people use for me on the pedophile forums I frequent, usually right after they bring up my sleeping with younger fans. The only possible takeaway is that Lance from the Surface is a pervert. So his fans are just now accusing me of being a pedophile now. And they're even pushing the sex cult allegation, but trying to claim they're trying to claim the sex cult allegations are not only true from Thought Slime, but that people were minors? And also trying to accuse... Oh my god, it is... Huh. So we've gotten to the point where now Lance has managed to move the narrative from him defending an abuser who herself was pedo-jacketing her abuse victims to now his fans having full free reign to pedo-jacket me. So now it's going to be Lance fans calling me a pedophile and a homophobe, and if I defend myself, there will be dumb fucks who do not want to educate themselves on all of this that's happened, who will still stand by Lance. I mean, Lance is lying. He's being dishonest. Why are you guys so desperate to believe that Lance is, like, it's impossible for him to be like all the other people we've dealt with up to this point? He's friends with all these people. He is acting like them. He is making excuses for them. Why are you so desperate to defend him? Why are you so desperate to keep liking him? You can still like his content, but why do you have to defend it? He could very well be deleting critical comments. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise... He probably is. Regardless, though, I think here's where I'll make the keyword. Here's where I'll put the code phrase. Lima bean. If you have a comment that is critical of this video and you include Lima bean, I will not ban you, even if you disagree. Because you at least heard the arguments. Unless you straight up say, like, abuse is good or something like that. Unless, in that case, like, obviously you're getting banned. But, like, if you just, like, if you say something like, I don't know, I still like Lance, but Lima Bean, I heard your arguments. Like, okay, that's fine. But if you comment some shit and you don't include Lima Bean, I'll know you didn't actually hear the story. You don't actually know the information, and you're just jumping to conclusions to defend the content creator you like. And that's going to get you an instant ban. Lance has deleted a few of my comments, actually. Oh, he is deleting comments. I mean, okay, fair. To be fair, I imagine he actually... Oh, yeah, he's actually... This has 10,000 views and only 600 likes. I don't have the unhide likes add-on, but that's not a good ratio. He's probably got like 300 or 400 likes hidden, or dislikes hidden here. This video's probably gotten pretty badly ratioed, but we can't see because likes are hidden. Like, 600 likes is not that much for a 10,000 view video. Yeah, his video claiming that I called him a pedophile has 10,000 views in 2 days. 174 dislikes? Yeah, it's a pretty decent ratio. 173 for me. To be fair, the add-on only shows dislikes from people who also have the add-on. But, yeah. That's not very surprising. At least there are some people who know that he's full of shit and that he's just trying to redirect the narrative to defend an abuser, but that's really all it is at the end of the day. And that's what the title is going to be. Lance accuses me of homophobia to defend an abuser. Because he's still doing it. He's tried to walk back, sort of, on the Leftist Mafia podcast, but I think the funniest part of it is that when you look at the hold on, let me see if I can find it. Leftist Mafia podcast. Sorry, chat. Links to a video weren't going to help because I can't show the thumbnail. This is a better representation. Look at that. He is so desperate, I feel, to, like, distance himself now from the fact that he defended her before the entire internet had been brought up to speed on what had happened. And how he realizes that if his audience finds out why I was criticizing him, they'll realize I'm not just some asshole criticizing a bisexual man because I'm homophobic. Instead, they'll realize that, oh, wait, that's a lefty criticizing another figure who's supposedly a lefty, who's defending abuse and attacking abuse victims. This is why I prefer content creators who are willing to turn on their friends in an instant if they start acting like dickheads. Everyone else just defending their teammates to the bitter end. Exactly. It's why I get so triggered at people. They're like, no, don't burn the bridge with blank. Don't burn the bridge with blank. It's like, do you guys want me to maintain friendships with people that are like loyalty is good to an extent, but loyalty should be deserved, right? Deserved loyalty is good. Just being loyal to a fault is not good by any means. Regardless, this is pretty much my take on all of it. Lance defended an abuser. I called him out for it. Lance realized that the internet was catching up on this drama a lot, and he could not win that fight against me. So he decided to make it about me being homophobic, but I'm not. I didn't call him a pedophile. I just made fun of him for using a term to insult me that makes him look like cringe, because it's an insult mostly used by lolicons, so it just kind of looks cringe that he's using it. I don't think it makes him look like a pedophile. I didn't call him a pedophile. I just think it's funny that the insult he used towards me has been exclusively used by malding pedophiles up to this point. It's just funny. But yeah, I didn't even know Lance was bi. I don't really care. And also, fuck Lance.